Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, live.
Hey, what's up, bro?
That's good.
Hey,
We're,
round two, man. Round two.
round two. Hey, this about to go different though. So look, this is what we about to do. I'm about to play this audio. I'm about to play
I
this
already heard
audio
it.
for you,
I already
Maya.
heard it.
Let it run again.
No, I'm
I
about
already
to I'm
heard
about
it.
to play it for you. I'm about to play it again, and then I'm gonna ask you the questions, okay?
All
Because I've
right.
been I've been talking a lot, and we got some new people in here. So let
Oh,
me
okay,
just
okay.
let
All
me
right.
play this one more time, and then I'm gonna ask you the questions, so it could be fresh. Where is it at? Here she go. So if you haven't heard, Moroccan soccer player Hakimi is engaged in this vicious divorce battle with his soon-to-be ex-wife over assets to be distributed upon a divorce. The problem is Hakimi took all of his assets and put them in his mama's name. Now, the fact that he did that, that's a whole nother video. I'm going to give you tips on how to make sure you never end up in this situation. Step one, get a prenup. I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it again. And you might be thinking, I don't have enough assets for a prenup. A prenup will mandate both parties to disclose what assets they have, where they're located, and whose name they're in. If she would have done that, she would have known from the beginning he has nothing in his name. Step two, I want you to have a provision in your prenup that requires you to get paid out for every year that you are sitting at home taking care of the family and taking care of the kids. And you might be thinking, oh, I don't need to do that. Shut up. Shut up. Society is going to pressure you into a lot of things. Your love for the family is going to pressure you into a lot of things. And you need a payout in the event that you sacrifice your entire career and sit at home. Because you're not going to be able to jump back into the freaking work market with a gap in your resume. Step three, and this is something I'm personally going to have in my prenup, have a payout clause for every child you bring into this world. And you might be thinking, oh, you're not doing a big job by bringing a child into this world. It's your duty. Shut up. Okay, shut up. The mental, physical, emotional toll that's going to take on your body, on who you are as a person, it's going to change you forever. And let's be completely honest, when you are divorced and you have to go back into the dating market, they're going to treat you as a single mother with children very differently than a rich man who's divorced and has kids. It's not going to impact him or his life. It's going to impact you. So make sure you're compensated. All right, Maya, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it.
Get
So
into it.
Maya, what are your initial thoughts, on that audio? Do you agree or disagree with anything she said, and why or why not?
Yeah, so first of all, before I get into just the whole video of itself, I'm actually a big fan of her account, Sister Talks with Sahar.
Right.
And so like I just want to give more context of like who she is, what she's about.
Go
And
ahead.
because I think it explains a little bit about why I am in such favor of what she's talking about. So she is a double barred attorney. She has multiple degrees. She talks about this a lot. So she regards herself a high value woman. And so I don't really subscribe to the whole high value whatever, but her main message to women as like a TikTok dating coach or whatever is like you need to set yourself up for success in marriage and dating and life in any other like you would in any other aspect of your career, whatever. So it's not that I heard a lot of like, oh, like women are trying to like use men and like pump them for everything they have, and like she is so not about that. So I think what she's talking about in this case is this lady clearly did not know that he had all of his assets in somebody else's name. If you are entering a marriage, a partnership, and you're wanting this lady or your wife, I should say, as she said, to be at home with your kids, whatever, like that's a lot of labor, domestic labor that she's putting into this partnership. He was not forthcoming about that for whatever reason. So it made her, one, look dumb because, oh, aha, it's this gotcha moment. 98% of his assets aren't even in his name. And also, she's walking out of that unprotected with nothing. There was also a point she said in there where, like, a lot of times when you're operating with people like marriages in this tax bracket, presumably like he's making however many more money than she is, how 100 times more money, much more money than she is, like she's not going to be able to work in the same capacity or ever have the same capacity to provide for the lifestyle that she was offered previously. And also I saw somebody in the comments talking about how he had rape allegations, so he's a piece of trash regardless. Just want to throw that in there. But yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at overall.
Okay. But tell me what. So do you agree with 100% of everything that she said?
I'm seeing like people in the comments talking about like she's worth the same amount. Like I don't think that I know enough about this particular scenario to say, oh, I agree 100%. Whatever. Everything has caveats. At the end of the day, these are people I don't know. Like this is such a high profile situation. Like I'm not about to sit up here and act like I know everything about this. I agree with the premise of what she's saying that women should have prenups because like she said there is a legal obligation for both parties to disclose all of their assets. This ensures equality and fairness in marriage more than it does not. Okay, it's not just so that women can be set up for just in case something happens. It's so that everybody is clear on what people are going into the marriage with, so both assets are protected. So if something were to happen, you're walking out with full knowledge of what you were getting yourself into.
So,
Yes.
but Maya, so why is it now that she's making a video informing women of um you know informing women of these things? Like you said, she's on here all the time. She said that she's, according to her, she dates like this high earning executive, and like I said, like you said, she considers herself a high value woman. She says women should have these. She said women should have the highest of the highest expectations. They shouldn't deal with average or below average men. So I'm just saying, I think traditionally, like when marriages don't work out, I think women are, the ones that are the beneficiaries most of the time. But now in a situation like this, to where the man basically like pulled a woman on the woman, like a lot of women are like up in arms right now. So it's like, why are you making this video now? Why have you not made this video? Why didn't she make this video a long time ago? And I didn't. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't hear her say anything about having genuine love for a man. I didn't hear her say anything about a woman having her own. It was like, make sure you do X, Y, and Z. So in the case that you don't want to be with a man anymore, you can still be like majority of the other women and, end up on the winning side.
Wait, okay. First thing, you said a lot there, so I just have a follow-up question. What do you mean exactly by like he pulled a woman on a woman? Like what is
You
that?
know,
What does that
you
mean?
you know how people be like, what if I pulled a you on you?
Yeah, I get what that means, but in what way did he pull a woman on his ex-wife?
Because, like I said, Maya, most of the time when marriages don't work out, and like, like both of us know, like we acknowledged, women are the ones filing for divorce at like between 70 and 80%. My bad, kiss me through the phone. Women are the ones women are the ones filing for divorce 70-80% of the time. And even with them filing for divorce 70 to 80% of the time, they're not ending up in this position. Most women are getting 50% or whatever percentage of a man's assets that he had before the marriage, that he may have accumulated during the marriage. So now when this man has all of his assets in his mother's name, and she's the one that, she has her assets and her money in her name. So now she's like the breadwinner. She's the one that's going to be like coming out on the losing end. He basically pulled what a lot of women do to a lot of men on her. So that's why a lot of, if this was something that happened regularly, women wouldn't be so up in arms and in shock like they are right now. She wouldn't have made this video if this didn't happen. She wouldn't have informed women of the importance of prenups if this situation didn't happen.
Well, let me just walk it back a few steps. So like the history of why women were beneficiaries, we're not okay, like prenups is a whole different thing. Let's just talk about like women inheriting men's assets either from death, usually from death, from divorce, whatever the case is. Women up until the 1990s were not allowed to have their own credit line. So, like, there is a need for women to be introduced to what they are entitled to, their legal rights, assets, credit, because this is a relatively new concept for women to have an equal stake in marriage. So, that's point one. Point number two, I lost my train of thought because you did kind of say a lot. But if we're talking about why it is that she is saying, trying to tell women this and that, it's again, like, it's not because, oh, so women can get put on game because women are just so shocked that like this could happen to them too. It's because, and I saw somebody in the comments talking about most of these, like, there's so many things I want to say at once. Basically, what I'm trying to say is marriage was never just about love. And it always was about money, power, whatever you want to say. Now women have an equal stake. So we need to, like, men are going to find new ways to manipulate us, as they always tend to do. And so now it's our responsibility to be well informed about what our rights are legally to things so that we don't end up ass out. And what she had pointed out in the video, which I'll go back to, is the fact that, like, just because which first of all, a lot of people are saying that they made the same amount of money, so I don't even know how
they do not. Okay, they do not make the same amount of money. This man is 24 years old, Maya. She's 36. She's an actress. I don't know her to be a wealthy actress, but she is an actress. And this man is like a international, soccer player. This man was earning more than €1 million monthly. So, but they're definitely not worth the same amount. But anyways, go ahead. What you were saying.
Okay, sorry. I'm just reading the comments, and a lot of people are talking about I sound goofy.
Don't worry about the comments. Don't worry about the comments.
No, because I'm in a live, so I'm trying to use the.
Just focus on our discussion. Don't worry about the comments.
Basically, what I'm still confused about is it sounds like she would have had her own money going into this regardless. So that's kind of like what I was getting at. My overarching point is and why I really wanted to join this live was because when I was listening, I was hearing you talk about how women are going to see this and like spew this out to men, and it's going to make men not want to get married to them. Right. And that most women are going to, operate from this perspective. I want to like switch to that because I don't know enough about this whole case to speak on it. So I'm just going to decline.
Okay. That's my next question. And let's talk about it. So my next question is, do you think women using their platforms to spread messages like this to other women is going to encourage men to want to get married?
Yeah. So this is actually why I wanted to join the live. So right as you were talking about this, I was looking up a statistic. So there is the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health. And so I actually studied this when I was in college. So some people were asking, like, who am I? What's my profession? So I'm presently a teacher. I'm applying to law school. I studied sociology when I was in college. So this stuff is actually pretty interesting to me. And so basically, the National Institute of Health, they do global studies on different sociological issues, demographics based on race, ethnicity, all that type of stuff. And so they have something that's called like the marriageability index. And it's based on education, income, whether or not you have a criminal record, all these things. And they base it on demographic. And right now they're basing it on gender. And so from 1980 to 2010, there has been a huge decline in the relative supply of marriageable males, and it is a positive correlation with the increase of marriageable quality women. And so the reason I bring this statistic up, there's been a lot of talk and fear-mongering about what happens if men don't want to get married. But statistically, in modern times, women are far more marriageable and have far more of the qualities that would make for a successful, happy life in marriage than men do. So I'm just really confused as to like why we should be scared if men don't want us. Men are not as educated. The most educated group of people in this society right now is Black women. And so like they do have the upper hand, and they should 100% have the right to have their pickings because they've earned it. And again, that goes along with like the person in the video that was disclosing this. Like she has always encouraged women to like get it on their own, to be educated, like to show up as what you are desiring in a partnership, in a relationship. Like it's not broke, dusty women that like don't have anything. And like I feel like that's the direction you were trying to take it in. And so like if that's the case, like why is that even the concern in the first place? Like what happens if men don't want to get married? Like they're not qualified to be in the marriages with the women that we're talking about anyway. Like
okay, so Okay, so one that you that whatever source that you just used, you said it referenced from like 1980 something to 2010.
Yeah, that's when they look. So it's like an index. So they measure it over time. That's the most recent statistic, but the class I took was in 2020, and like it's the statistics still being used. So I would argue that it's probably still headed in that direction. Not much has changed systemically or societally to where like those numbers are significantly increasing. Although I welcome anybody to come with like some type of counter statistic.
Well, okay, I'm not aware of that statistic, but if you're saying that you studied that in 2010, because I was gonna say it's 2023, and in college, your whatever source you use, it has to be like within like the longest range that it could be within is in 10 years. So um I don't know the accuracy of that stat that you just I don't know the accuracy of that stat that you just called out, but I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a man for a second.
Hmm.
If you knew that a woman did not want to be with you genuinely because of who you are, but she wanted to be with you because of what you have, and she had foresight of what you were able to do for her in the future because of the money and the resources that you have. Is that a woman that you would want to be with, or would you want to be with a woman that genuinely likes you and loves you for you and accepts you as you are? Like, be 100% honest.
I think that if I were a man and I were in marriage in the spirit of getting married for the right reasons, I would want to be 100% truthful and forthright about all of my assets, especially if I am somebody that has a lot of those assets, because I know that I live a certain lifestyle and I would want my partner to be clear on what the parameters of that lifestyle is. Not because, oh, like I think that that person like I'm gonna fund that person's lifestyle. I mean, if I'm a man, I'm making that decision independently of this conversation. But I think that I would give my partner that I love and adore the benefit of the doubt and understanding like marriage is about building a life together. And I don't think that there's any people are talking about answer the question. I'm telling you my answer. My answer
You're
is
not you're not answering my
all right.
question.
My answer is no. No, I wouldn't think that that means that. What was in the question that she's that I
Okay,
would
so
think that.
let me ask the question again. So my question that you didn't answer, my question is, if you would you want to get married to a woman that genuinely loves you for who you are and accepts you for who you are, or would you want to get married to a woman that only is interested in getting married to you because of what your financial status is, because of what resources you have, and because of what she in her head thinks you're able to do for her right now
Hold
and
up, bro.
going
Hold up, hold up,
forward
hold
in the
up.
future?
Hold up, bro. I just got to step in for right here. That nigga in the chat that said this girl is not wifey material. First of all, bro, like, hold up a second.
Don't let them get you
Who
tight.
said that?
Nah, bro, because you're not ready to talk about my girl like that.
Who
One, she
said
has
that?
not made any derogatory statements towards men. Let's get that straight up. Second of all,
Hold one second, Abby. 1 second. 1 second. Listen, listen. Y'all know we do not foster a negative environment here. This is my real life cousin, ladies and gentlemen. This is my real life first cousin, and this is his woman right here. So please be respectful, okay? Please be respectful. Like, I don't have a problem. We don't have any problems with disagreements here, but please be respectful, okay? Like, this is my real life like first cousin, okay? Nappy, did you want to say something else?
Go to sleep. It's past your bedtime,
like,
Uncle.
let's stop it right here. First of all,
No, man.
first of all,
No, come on,
I
Uncle.
guarantee you, I make more than all y'all niggas in this chat. I guarantee you, I make more than all y'all niggas in this chat. So y'all not ready come to step to me talking about who's wife and who's not wifey. The women in the men that the women talking in this video is not y'all niggas. So I promise you
That's true.
that this shit don't even apply to y'all. Y'all are not in the same tax bracket as certain niggas, bro. And y'all not. So please get out my face with like, please, bro. Go disrespect somebody else's girl. I promise you. If I'm sipping, then go ahead. Go ahead. I'll pay your rent for a whole year.
First of all,
Let's not do that,
the
bro.
girlies in
Come
the
on.
chat, I see you. The
Come on,
girlies in
bro.
the chat, I see you. Sorry, we had to get off topic, but
Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Okay, Maya, but no, Maya. So yeah, Maya. So the second part of my question is, would you want to get married? Do you want to get married to a
want to
woman?
get married to somebody who loves me and sees me who I am for who I am. No, but that is the
Okay.
answer to my question. My question to you is, Do the two have to be separate?
No.
Okay, they don't. So
no, listen. Let me be clear. Like, because I told you this. I told you this in person as well. Like, I have a mother. I have two sisters. I don't think a man's, especially for a woman that wants to be married and have a family one day, a man's financial status is very important. You know, him being able to make money, him being able to provide for a woman and a family, like kids, that is very much important. So I have anyone that is listens to me regularly speak. I have never said that a woman should date a broke man. I never said that a woman should date a man that's not financially stable. I have never said that a woman should date a man that doesn't have good credit. I have never said anything of the sort. When we talk about money, and like I told you, my whole thing is I think it's dangerous when women start looking at men that are on the same socioeconomic status level as them as not worthy and holding out and for something better because they think they deserve something better, but not everyone is realistically going to get something better. Like, I personally don't see anything wrong with building with someone that's on the same socioeconomic status level as you. Now, if a woman is making 60,000, I'm not saying that she should, like, take a man that's stocking the shelves at Walmart or Target at night and try to build him up and see him through. No. But if you making 60,000 and a man making 60 or 70,000, I think y'all are a good match. Y'all can put your money together, y'all can grow together. But when we have women that are looking at men that are on the same socioeconomic status level as them as less than, I think that's a problem.
I could not agree more. I think that this is where we agree more than I think we disagree, Noble. Like, I think a lot of these, and I've said this before, like, Noble and I have had off live conversations, y'all. We like this. So we're not all like on different pages. I think a lot of TikTok creators like glorify and glamorize these lifestyles, especially women, and they are preying on particularly like young, impressionable women that aren't where they want to be. A lot of us are burnt out. You know, we're tired of our jobs. We're tired of being in school. And so there's this like shiny thing dangled in front of us of like, oh, just get you a rich man and he'll fund your lifestyle. And like, that's it. And that's very exploitive. And it almost never serves to be in the women's interest in general. So like, I'm 100% with you. Now, that being said, I think the problem lies in this scenario. Why I think that that's different is the fact that, like, in this video, all this lady was saying was about prenuptial agreements and your rights to assets. I think that when you have met somebody that you have fallen in love with, you've decided to build life with, which, let me just say, and why I had asked you before, do you think that being in love with somebody and wanting to be with somebody that's who you are and also wanting to be with somebody that's on the same tax bracket or has the same vision and goals for life for you shouldn't be conflated? Because I don't think that marriage can operate without one or the other. I don't think loveless marriages last. I don't think marriages that only are about love last. Like, I think you need both to build a system.
100%. 100%.
And so I think I cannot envision a sustainable marriage that has both of those qualities in which you're already starting off with withholding information. Now, if there was a scenario in which they had a conversation and it was like, look, because of XYZ reasons, I got my assets in my mom's name and da da da. Like, my problem is, and what the point of this video was, just circling back to what the original topic was, is like, that's like pulling the rug out from underneath her. Is for whatever reason she was into that marriage is not what I'm here to get back and forth about. Like, but at the end of the day, she had a certain vision of like what she was going into. There's legal documents signed, right? Like, that's misleading information. And I think that, like, in any other scenario in which there was like a legal document or contract, like, you have to be forthcoming about all of, you know, what the agreement entails, right? And like, he didn't acknowledge something that's pretty big, like where all of his assets lied. So it left her dry. And I just don't think that that's right. And I think that this person, this creator, is trying to inform women of their rights going into a marriage, which in turn, I think should not turn men off from wanting to get married because women know about what their rights are in marriage. I also think, like, I'm trying to sum it all up for the comments start getting, I'm saying I'm rambling, but I also think that there is a huge problem with men getting upset for women for asking for more in marriages. And I also think that there's a problem with women that are asking, that have unrealistic expectations of what dating should look like. And honestly, my opinion is that, like, this whole, like, new wave stay at home like bullshit is the same stuff that was going on in the 1950s, where women had no rights, was getting beat on, like having all this, like that was not a happy time for women. So like I don't glorify that. I want to have things on my own. Like that is not a lifestyle that I support or sustain. Like, however, I do think that like if you got it like that and you know the type of person you are, like, and you don't settle, like you are entitled to whatever person that you know, come across, whatever tax bracket that is, whatever it's, I think people should just, whatever you want, embody it, and it'll come to you. That's all of my thoughts.
Okay, so I agree with about 90% of what you said, but we're gonna talk about the 10% that I disagree with you with on. Okay. When you say, you know, like the man and the woman should be honest, you know, they should be like, you know, upfront about, you know, whatever money and resources, whatever assets they have. You said, like, you think it's wrong that he had his assets in his mother's name and didn't inform her of that. I respectfully disagree with you on that. I think that was very intelligent of him to do, and I think any other man that wants to do that, I think that would be very intelligent of them to do as well. Because again, traditionally, when things don't work out, whether it's the man doesn't want to be with the woman anymore or the woman doesn't want to be with the man anymore when they divorce, most of the time, like just facts, most of the time it is the woman that is, you know, the greater beneficiary. Most of the time it is the woman that is getting more time with the kids. Most of the time it's the woman that's getting the property.
No, but didn't we talk about why that's been historically the case?
Okay, hold on. Most of the time it's the woman that's getting the money. So if I'm a man, especially a young man, a 24-year-old man that's a superstar, I'm earning $1 million+ a month. It's within my best interest, and I think it's smart for me to protect myself. Now, as a woman, Maya, when you say you think he's wrong for doing that, as a woman, if you're going to be getting married to a man, it is upon you. You need to take accountability and make sure that certain things are in order, and a man needs to do that as well. So just hypothetically, if Nappy was to, like, you know, propose to you and get married to you, it is your responsibility to make sure that Nappy's assets are in his name and whatever ducks need to be in the order. It is your responsibility to do that. You can't. I don't think that as a woman you can try to say the man is wrong when you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You didn't cover your own ass. So I that's on her if you ask me. He's not wrong for that. Because I'm gonna land on this. If I see I'm very observant. I'm gonna watch someone make a mistake and I'm gonna see the consequences that come out of it, and I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna go make the same mistake they make and see if my consequences are gonna be different. So as a man, if I see what happens most of the time, I'm going to do if I can, I'm going to do what I can do to protect myself in the best way that I can. And I'll land on that. So do you agree with me that that's her fault, that she didn't cover her own ass and make sure that things were in order?
I think that this is where the problem starts. Like, like a lot of people in the comments are like, oh, I'm contradicting myself. Like, both people are in the wrong here. There's a lot of bullshit that goes on. First of all, who's always going to be more wrong is the men. So the girls, I'm still with y'all. Like, but why is marriage being looked at as something you need to protect yourself in? Like, you just asked me, no, but would I want somebody that loves and supports me regardless? There's talks in the comments of, oh, if your man lost the money, you still gonna be with him. Yes, because I'm with somebody that I love and see for who they are. I think that if you are ready to make the commitment, and this should tell you a lot about marriage, the state of marriage in today's society, and I think it proves the point further, it's not really about love, but I digress. Why are we having conversations about people needing to cover their own asses and protecting themselves? You're entering a joint life together. There is a responsibility on both people's ends to be forthright about what they have. I understand you're in a certain tax bracket. You know, you whatever. There's this imaginary fear of getting, you know, fucked over, whatever. I don't know if I could cuss on here, but of getting, you know, finessed.
But really quick. Let me jump really quick. It's not. I don't necessarily think it's a fear of getting fucked over. It's just the reality of what marriage is. Like, you know, if things don't work out, there's, when the government's involved, there's certain things that are going to happen based off of like whatever the contract is, like, and that's with any contract. So
Right.
it's not a matter of being afraid. It's just protecting yourself in
So
case.
what do you
That's
mean
why
by
they
it?
have clauses. That's why they have clauses, Maya. That's why they
But
have
what do
clauses in
you mean,
contracts.
Noble, by she's okay? So if that's true, which is the point I really made at the beginning of this, it's a legal binding obligation to be forthright about everything that you have when you're signing a prenuptial agreement. Okay, you're saying that she should have covered her ass. Covered her ass by what? Getting a prenup?
She should have covered her ass by doing whatever she felt she needed to do. So if
And
that
what
was
would
getting
that
a
say?
prenup,
In what way would she be able to cover her ass by knowing everything that she needed to know to go into that marriage?
she
That's what a
needs.
prenup does.
Okay,
So
exactly.
you think she should have gotten a prenup?
She should have done whatever she needed to do.
So she should have gotten a prenup, right? So the point of the video of this person was that women should be informed to get prenups. So aren't you agreeing with the point
I
of the
don't
video?
listen. I listen. I'm not, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I'm someone that believes, and I'm also, let me, before I say this, people don't need to be rich for them to get a prenup. Like,
No,
cause
they
like
don't.
people will get married and they'll be in one place financially, and throughout the marriage they'll evolve and get to a higher place. So you still want to like protect yourself in those instances. So I agree that both men and women should have prenups.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
But my problem with her specifically, Maya, is the reason that she's making the video. First of all, a lot of women like to talk about, especially when these conversations are being had, they like to say, "Are you married?" Right? That's what a lot of women like to say to the men that they see having these conversations. Are
Mm-hmm.
you married? If you're not married, then you shouldn't be having this conversation. You shouldn't be talking about it. She's not married.
She's
She's she's
engaged.
she's not married.
She
She's been
knows
a
about
man
the
for
laws.
several years. She's been dating a man for several years, has not got married, doesn't have any kids, and that is exactly what women speak against. That's what exactly majority of women speak
No.
against. Don't be in a relationship with a man for years and have him wasting your time. But that's exactly what she's doing. So she's not a wife, but y'all get on this app and hold her in such high regard. And she's only making this video. She only made that video because of this situation. She would have not made that video informing women of prenups.
She made this video because she understands and worked in contracts and litigation for a while and is well informed on people's legal rights and felt that she had the legal knowledge to inform people of what their rights are when they decide to enter a marriage. A prenup is a legal right that you have. Now, the point that I was making about her being engaged is that's why she felt like it applied to her, because she ended the video with, and that's why I'm getting a prenup. So she was 100% qualified to talk on this. That had nothing to do with, you don't have to be married to understand basic legal rights.
Right, Maya. So look, we agree, and we're gonna go to the next question. We agree, we both believe in prenups, but if this woman really is engaged, man, you should have made this. You should have made this video. You should have been made this video, because you're not only are you engaged, you're a woman that's been with a man for years upon end, and you still not married. So you should have been made this video. Don't try to make this video now and try to put women on game. If you really cared, you would have been put women on game.
But she has been. This isn't her first video on prenups. It just blew up because everybody's been talking about this particular case, because everybody's been talking about, oh, men are getting a W, and oh yeah, this is a dub for the fellas, and this and this and this. But that doesn't discredit the fact that she made the video, because men are having their gotcha moment. Men are having with their invisible assets they don't have. I want to let every single one of these men in these comments know. I know y'all said stop looking at the comments, but I can't help it. None of y'all have the amount of assets that would even be worth having a conversation about. So we could really start there, but I digress. The reason why the video blew up was because this is a hot topic right now. So yeah, City Boys up. You was never in the City Boys keep. I
want to speak to that comment that you just made though, because that's a comment that a lot of women like to make. You know, they try to make it seem like a man needs to be in a certain position to even have an opinion on things. Like, again, this woman, well, let me not talk about the woman in this video, but since she just made a comment to the men, let me make a comment to the woman. And, you know, those of you that are regulars here, this is not going to be anything new to you. And I probably even told Maya this before too. The same way Maya just said, a lot of these men don't have the assets that, She said they're invisible assets. A lot of you women, you're not going to be with a man that has those assets, okay? 99% of you, you're not even going to be with a man that has those assets. So like, let's stop as men and women, let's stop trying to make it seem like someone needs to be in a certain position to have an opinion on things. Because if we can agree that people don't need to be multimillionaires to have prenups and protect themselves in marriage, then people that aren't multimillionaires should be able to have an opinion on prenups and protecting themselves in marriage. So I don't want to hear any of you women talking about how a man isn't an athlete, a man isn't an entertainer, a man isn't a multimillionaire. And we're in our early mid-20s. You don't know what somebody's gonna be tomorrow. You don't know where they're gonna be. So stop talking like that. But what the reality for 99% of you women is going to be, you are going to be with the man that you're saying has the invisible assets. So y'all should shut your mouths. Y'all not gonna be with Michael B. Jordan. You not gonna be with the next LeBron James, okay? You not gonna be with a man that's signing 8-9-figure contracts. You gonna be with an average or below average man like yourself. You gonna work a job. Hopefully you got a 401k or a pension type of plan. Y'all are going to invest in a house together. Y'all gonna have a kid or two, and y'all gonna live happily ever after. That's what's gonna be reality for 99% of you. The same way for like 90 to 95% of men, they're not going to be multimillionaires. So let's stop trying to, because if we want to make it seem like someone needs to have created something or someone needs to be in a certain position to speak on things, a lot of us wouldn't be able to have an opinion on a lot of things in the world. So when your iPhone is acting up, don't have an opinion on iPhone products. Don't have an opinion on Android products because you don't make them. If you go to a restaurant, you don't like the food, don't have an opinion on the food because you didn't make the food. So y'all need to stop with all that. Anyways, Maya, let's go to the next question. Or do you have a rebuttal before I go to the next question?
A rebuttal? Nah, I'm sorry. I've been looking at these comments the whole time.
All right. So here's the next question, Maya.
Yeah.
In 2023, do you think most women value a man's financial status and what they foresee him being able to do for them in the future more than being a God-fearing man, his character, ethics, morals, personality, and values? What do you honestly think is indicative of most women in our age range? Most women in they early to mid 20s. I'll say 30 and under.
I'll entertain the answer you want me to give, Noble. I think most women
give your
honest
answer.
I think most women are into it for the finances.
That's not what you think.
Let's entertain it.
No. Okay, give me your honest answer, and then we can entertain the finance thing if you want to. What's your honest answer? All right.
My honest opinion on most women, I don't like making sweeping generalizations. I could speak to the women in my life who are all college educated, working full time, making decent money for entry level, fresh out of college. I'm in my early to mid 20s. I don't really want to give too much about my personality, but decent credit, good things going for them. I would say if they are dating, most women I know are not dating right now because they're focused on their hustle. But if they are dating, I would say they are focused on a man. I don't know if this really answers the question, that treats them right in whatever capacity that looks like. I think that's the best way I could generalize it. So for some of them, it looks like money, but I wouldn't say all of them. I would say everybody's looking for a man that is kind, considerate, thoughtful. For some people, that's like, if it's gift giving, yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily say that most women know.
Okay. Would you say like when it comes to like socioeconomics, that if I said that I personally believe, let me not even say if I said, let me be direct. Excuse me. I personally believe that most women, when it comes to most women want to be with a man that is at the very least on the same socioeconomic status level as them, but they prefer a man that is on a higher socioeconomic status level than them. That's what I personally believe. Do you agree or disagree?
Again, I can entertain it. I don't have a strong opinion on it because I think it just varies so much person to person. But sure, we can entertain the idea of some people wanting some women particularly wanting men. What I will say is I think there is some justification for that, because if you look again at numbers and statistics, men are on average earning higher than women fresh out of college, same credential, same career. So I do think that there's some validity to that, but I don't want to touch it because I think there's just way too much variance in people's preferences or whatever.
So let me ask you this then. If a woman that actually went to college, right? She graduated high school, she went to college, and she went to college for she went to college for a valuable major, right? She actually went to school for something to where when she's done with school, she can go into the workforce and actually make money. So that woman that actually put in that work, she worked on herself and she's still working on herself. She's being a young adult, responsible, handling her business.
Yeah.
Do you think that woman that has done all of that is really going to be interested in a man that's the same age as her or older, and he has not done any of those things since he graduated high school? So
No.
he hasn't picked up a trade. He didn't go to college and try to pursue any higher education. He's just been from job to job. He in a warehouse, this part of the year. He's a bartender this part of the year. He worked at Dunkin' Donuts. This part of the year. He's a waitress this part of the year. Do you think most women would really want to entertain a serious situation with a man like that?
No, and I am actually very happy that we're having this conversation, because prior to my current relationship, my last relationship with somebody for a year and a half was exactly that. So we met. I was still in school. He was 3 years older than me at the time. He said that he was still in school as well. Over the series of our relationship, school didn't end up being his thing. I helped him set up a resume, helped him get a job. So for all y'all saying, oh, I'm one of those women, I used to be trying to hold it down. I really did. Community service. Anyway, helped him get a resume, helped him get a job. And then I graduated college, got a pretty good opportunity to move across the country. And there was a lot of talks about whether or not he would come with me. And I had told him, look, you're not done with school yet. You're still figuring out what your stuff is. People talking about, sorry, I'm trying not to look at these comments, but y'all shut up.
Don't worry about the comments.
It's literally relevant to the conversation. Come on, bro. Don't do that. Anyways, make a very long story short, I moved out here. He followed me. I was paying all the rent, all the bills. I fronted all the moving expenses. And it was, as soon as I get right up here, I'm going to get you back. He ended up cheating on me as soon as we got out here. And I put him at my crib. I moved on happy ever after. I don't know what he's doing, what he's up to. It's not my business, not my concern. I will never do that shit again. I did everything right. I did everything I could. I was working on myself. I checked all the boxes. I was investing in his family. And he still what he wanted to do what he wanted to do at the end of the day. And when his dumbass got caught, it was, I felt intimidated by everything that you had, and you make me feel like I can't contribute as a man and I can't keep up with where you want to go. And so that's why I had to seek attention elsewhere.
I just want to be clear. So you were that quote unquote ride or die woman.
Oh, I was.
You were that woman that, a man that was not on your level at all. And you really had no business dealing with. You tried to see the good in him. You tried to hold him down. You helped him out. You did all these things. And he still ended up cheating on you at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. Now, this is why, not the wow. This is why I think it is so important to inform women of what their legal rights are. I was intelligent enough to not put a bill in his name. His name is not on my lease. So when I said go, he had no legal rights to be here. He had to get his ass on, and he went, and I'm still here, and my life was not impacted in any way. And now, I was still able to save my money. Nothing impacted me negatively. And all that to say, there is no reason that I, in this stage of my life where I've put in the work to myself and my career, my education, should have to be, I don't want to have to take care of somebody else, because in my experience, that person took me for granted, and then told me in the end that I made them insecure the whole time, and they felt like they could never keep up, and not, whatever. Why would I want to be somebody like that?
Right. And that's why those are the type of men that you should not be with. And before we go to the next question, because I've asked the woman this before. So when we want to talk about how, the most educated group of people in our country right now are Black women, and they're doing all these great things. If y'all are so educated, why is it that all of y'all and people like Maya Why is it that y'all have men that like don't have anything going on for themselves, men that got third grade reading levels running laps around y'all? These are, you heard, she literally just said what I said y'all be doing.
Yep.
I'm still
Crazy.
waiting for a woman to tell me, Noble, come move in my apartment with me. Let me take care of you. Here's my keys. Go run the miles up on my car. Go drive around the city. Go do whatever you want to do, and I'ma just take care of you. So y'all don't do that for the men that got like careers. Y'all don't do that for the men that like actually did what they needed to do after high school, actually handling their business. But the men that are the complete opposite of those men, y'all are willing to go above and beyond for those men. Why is that? Is it really a matter of y'all being book smart and not street smart, or are y'all just attracted to a certain type of man?
I think in my experience, and this is why we can't. So this person, first of all, I'll be honest, that was my first, real relationship, whatever. This person did everything right. They took me on the dates. He was paying. He lied about where he was going to school, told me he went to a far better school than he really did. Failed to mention he had dropped out and failed a bunch of classes, was taking community college, trying to catch up. Like, this person really threw me for a loop, lied about a bunch of shit because he knew he wasn't going to be able to get my attention any other way. And then once I was in deep and he had sold me dreams, it was, oh, here's the slow rollout of the truth. And then, by that time, you're invested emotionally. At that point, this person had met my family. I wasn't used to bringing people around my family. And I was like, what's it going to look like if I'm bringing different dudes home every other day? Like, whatever, I already committed, like, whatever. Trying to hope this shit would just get better, blah, blah. Which is what happens to a lot of women. Like, men lie. Like, people lie, but, like, men lie. Men are liars. Yeah. Like, and people talk about, yeah, it's just manipulation. Like, I don't know. Looking back, 2020 hindsight, there was, I should have been more, less naive. I should have asked better questions. I'm older now. Wouldn't put myself in the same position twice. I learned from it, but that's, I think, why women do that. I don't know.
So yes, Maya, men do lie, but women lie as well. And someone like myself that's very big on accountability, like that's like the same. Every woman that like has done that before, they all say the same thing. I was young, I was naive, and it's like respectfully, like I'm not buying it. Like I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm just big on accountability. So like at the end of the day, Maya, if I was to be in a situation with a woman and I don't know, I was to get screwed over, if you ask me like what attributed to me getting screwed over, me personally, I'm not talking for any other man in here. I'm talking about me personally. I'm just going to tell you about how I put myself in that situation and what I did wrong. I'm not even going to bring up the woman. At the end of the day, both men and women, you need to cover your ass, you need to do your homework, and you need to make sure that the person that you're dealing with is really valid. Because everything else, and I'm not talking about you specifically, but I'm just talking about women that say those type of things in general. When you just hear the same story every single time, it just sounds like a bunch of excuses to me. Because at the very end, you said I was young, I was dumb, I was naive. But like, why even bring up what he did? I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Simple as that. I learned from it, and I'm not gonna do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sure.
anyways, Maya, my next question is, do you think going forward in the future that there will start to be a large influx of government-less marriages?
Huh?
Do you think going forward in the future that there will start to be a lot of marriages that don't involve the government at all?
What is that? What is a marriage without the government?
They 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 might have a wedding. They might say that they might, present themselves to be married, but they just don't get the government involved. Listen, at the end of the day, DJ Khaled been with his woman for a decade plus. They have children. He's not getting married to that woman. Ronaldo is not getting married to his woman, and his woman knows that, and she's more than okay with that. As many kids as he wants to continue to have, she's gonna have those kids for him. She's gonna continue to get those bags. She's gonna continue to like live that lifestyle. So because and even someone like Oprah and her billionaire boyfriend that she had at one point in time, I don't know if they still go together, but they did not get married because of the assets and resources that they have and what could possibly come out of them divorcing. So what I'm asking you is, if we want to talk about, we could just forgo even having to get a prenup in general. We're just going to be together. We're going to have a family, but we're not going to get the government involved in what we got going on. Do you think going forward that our generation is going to like entertain situations like that?
I hope not. I don't know. I sure hope not. I don't think it's smart. I think that we have a law for a reason. Politics is a whole different discussion. However you feel about the government is however you feel about the government. But I think that there are a lot of really qualified people that work hard to protect our rights. And there are a lot of rights that you get when you are when you are married, before you get married, after you get married. And so I think that that is a very dangerous territory to have a agreement solely going off of people's words, because as a lot of people have pointed out, like, people show their true colors over time. People are manipulative. I'm not even going to gender it.
Right.
I don't see any scenario in which it would be a good idea, if you have documents that are going to protect you, to not go through the way of those documents. And then with regards to wills, it becomes really complicated with like wills, trust, even things like who's gonna make your decisions for you while you're in the hospital. If you're not married on paper, like, there's a
Right.
lot of extra stuff that you have to do. Now, if you're willing to go through more paperwork, sure, but I just, at that point, if your whole thing is to evade government process, well, the government's involved in a lot more than just your marriage. So I don't know why that would be the better alternative, other than like not wanting a wedding, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Um. Okay, but
I don't know if I'm not understanding the question.
no,
Like,
no, 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 no. You answered the question. Like you said, you feel that because like people can like just go AWOL on their word at any point in time. So like you said, if people can like have the paperwork, document signed that, and we could be crystal clear on what will happen in certain instances. So I hear you on that. But do you think though, Maya, that I think obviously as men and women we're different, and if we want to go the paper route, I don't think it'll ever be I think it will be very rare that a woman will 100% agree with the way a man wants it to be, and I think it'll be very rare that a man 100% agrees with the way the woman wants it to be. So I do honestly think a lot of times that even prevents people from getting married earlier, because they can't come to agreement on the terms of that contract. So
yeah, but like, you have to, like, compromise is part of a healthy marriage. That's part of any healthy relationship, not even a marriage. Like, you have to learn how to compromise and listen to the person and see what you're willing to give up, or, modify. That like the all a contract or a legal marriage does is take things and put them on paper. You would have had to have that discussion even if there wasn't a paper. There would just be no record that there was the discussion, which means if 20 years down the line you cheat on that person wants to lie on you, you are no longer protected in the eyes of the law. So that's like, I don't really see, like, I'm just not really seeing a benefit to it, to not, like, people, especially like when we think about like gender equality, or, equality for, Black people, like, there's a lot of work that's been gone into to give people rights in marriage. So I don't know why we would go backwards in time.
okay. So just all in all, um, you
If
would
you want to
strongly
get married,
advise.
like, I'm not saying that everybody should get married. I'm saying that if you feel like you want to commit to a life partner and you guys want to share assets, you want, again, like, that's somebody you trust enough with your will, your trust, who gets the kids, God forbid something happened to you, you're willing to let that person make medical decisions on your behalf. Like, why wouldn't you want to make your life easier by streamlining it and having a document that 100% gives that person the okay, like in every one of those cases. Oh, sorry, y'all,
Right.
about the light. My
Let me
phone's
let
on.
me let me let me ask you one more question.
Okay, yeah.
Um, so when we were talking about when I was telling you how I think it's very problematic when women are looking at men that are on the same socioeconomic status level as them as less than, um a lot, listen, whether you want to agree to this or not, um I've talked to so many women on this app, Maya. There's a lot of women on this app that I talk to off of this app. There's a lot of women that I talk to off of this app that are not even on here. They all say that we are not interested in building, not even not interested. we are not building with men these days. They say we've seen what our mothers went through, we've seen what our grandmothers went through. We're not going to put ourselves through that. And then what they say is what happens most of the time when you build with a man, when he gets to whatever level he's trying to get to, or whatever level y'all want him to get to, they say a lot of the times the woman that was actually building with that man gets the short end of the stick. So, they love to bring up the Kanye quote. And, my cousin Kanye is his favorite artist. They love to bring up the Kanye, and when he get on, he leave your ass for a white girl. So when he get on, he gonna leave you, even though you were the one that was with him when he was nobody, when he was nothing. He's gonna go get another younger woman. He's gonna get a better woman. He's just gonna brush you to the side, despite the fact that you've been down there riding and dying for him. So, with that being said, do you encourage women? Obviously, you were being a ride or die for a man that you had no business being a ride or die for. But if this man is on the same socioeconomic status level as the woman and he's handling his business, would you advise a woman to really try to build with that man, or no?
I think building with and building up are two different things.
Right.
So I got what I got going on. You got what we got going on. We're moving in the same direction. We have the same vision for a long-term goal. That's how you progress in a relationship. If you're interested in marriage, if you're not, I wouldn't be in a relationship with somebody I couldn't see a long-term vision with. And so in that way, I would put my energy into building with them. Y'all got plans for y'all life. Why wouldn't you? If there's and I think that why I'm prefacing with that is because when I hear that conversation, it's usually a case in which the woman has to sacrifice something at the expense of the man, and it ends up biting them in the ass later. So whether that is them being able to go to school, them I got an auntie who she got degrees and my uncle don't. She can't hang her degrees up because my uncle thinks that it's going to be a bad look to the family that, she's boasting her education and he doesn't. He's the head of the household. It usually costs the woman something. And I don't think that anybody should be at the expense of making somebody else look good or boosting somebody else's life up, have to take something out of them. I don't think that that's healthy.
And about women not putting themselves in a position to where if things don't work out with the man, that they can still stand strong on their own, 10 toes, their own 2 feet. And she talked about, when you go back into the dating market as a divorced woman and you got 2-3 kids, she's like, most of these men are going to look at you as a single mother. And she also said, Maya, that, you're not going to be a woman that you haven't been in the workforce for X amount of years. And you think you're about to just go back into the workforce and get a job that's paying X, Y, and Z. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts on a woman that may be a career woman, a woman or a modern woman, as they like to refer to them? You would be considered a modern woman, right?
No.
You're childless.
I know how they feel about them modern
You're not married. You work, you have a job, you take care of yourself. But in the instance you were to have a kid, what are your thoughts on women becoming stay-at-home moms? What are your thoughts on women becoming stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home wives? Basically what I'm trying to ask you, if it's something that they do want to pursue, do you think they need to be all in on it? Or do you think it's possible for them to do the stay-at-home mom thing for 3 to 5 years and then want to go back to work? What do you think today in 2023?
I disagree for the most part with this new wave stay-at-home nonsense. I think that it is unsafe for women. It's still not benefiting us. I said this before. It is a bunch of BS that you're just going to find this man that's just going to all you gotta do is pump kids out and that's gonna be your life and you're just gonna be happy, whatever. If that's really, you found somebody that you are 100% sure of and that's the way y'all agree, yes. But this new wave and regression of we're not gonna go to school no more, we're gonna quit our jobs, it is not safe, especially given the fact that in this economy, if you want to live a good life, 2 people need to be working. So that's just how I feel about that. Now I think that I can see a scenario in which myself, in the future, I have a kids, I pop them out back to back to back to back. Maybe I decide I want to take 2 years off of work, spend time with my babies, whatever, until they're old enough to where we can get them childcare and whatever and jump right back into work. I would plan to set myself up to be able to take that leave.
Because Maya, this is another thing. These women, because I've had this conversation. These women say that, they say, a lot of women say that I want to be with a man that will enable me, that when I do have kids, he will be able to, hold the family down, and I'll be able to be with my kids during those early formal years, right? Because if I'm not in that position, then I need to pay for childcare. Childcare is expensive. And then a lot of women, you're just weary of, whether it's a nanny or even a family member, you're just weary of someone possibly mistreating your child. So as a woman, you want to be the one spending majority of the time with your child and take care of them. You don't want to be you don't want to be the woman that you still having to go to work, and then you having to like take breaks to go pump. And so, you don't want people mistreating your child. So my thing is, if that's what most of these women want at the end of the day, then when you have children, you are going to have to be that stay-at-home mom, that stay-at-home wife. But they want their cake and they want to eat it too. So it's like, first of all, let me say this too. Most of you women, you're not going to be afforded that opportunity. Just financially, you're not going to be. And I'll tell you guys again. Most of you are not even going to be with a man that's going to be able to have you in a position to be a stay-at-home mom, to be a stay-at-home wife. Your ass is gonna pop that baby out, have your maternity leave, and then your ass is back to work. That's what it's gonna be. And y'all gonna figure it out. Whether grandma gonna come in and be taking care of the kid, because in our culture, Maya, like Nappy was saying, like rest in peace to our grandma. They're very involved in the kid's life, like especially if they're around. Yeah. But a lot of y'all culture's not like that, and y'all gonna be back to work, and y'all gonna have to hire the nanny. Y'all gonna have to hire like the babysitters. Y'all gonna have to pay for the daycare, and unfortunately, you gonna have to be at work stressing, hoping that somebody's not mistreating your child. That's what the reality is gonna be for most of you. Oh my thing is, a lot of these women want their cake and they want to eat it too. So they don't want to go to work, but they don't want to be this full-time stay-at-home mom either. So it's like, it's not good enough for a lot of these women.
I think that, dang, you really need to do your one for a second, Daniel. I was just letting you get it out. I think expressing frustration, like working sucks. I don't like to work. I don't like it. I also think that there can be, I don't think that like being a mom would suck. Like, I think I would love my kids and I would love to have the opportunity to like just spend that quality time. I think that for me, I would want to set myself up to be able to do that. I think that like you have to take responsibility and agency over your own life and not rely on like somebody else's funding and finances to be able to do that. I think that like if you set yourself up well, whether that's having your own saving, maybe you don't need it. Maybe I see a lot of people in the comments talking about like their partner didn't have it at one point, but they built themselves up to where they were afforded that lifestyle. That's awesome. Like that's a dream scenario. If like you never have to touch that money, you don't like. But I think it's just wise to set yourself up so if something goes left, you're not left out to dry and you still get to spend time with your kids. Or you can work from home. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm just wary of this, like, it's all so easy. All you have to do is say yes. Just be a stay-at-home mom and throw out, basically all of your own opportunities. Like, I don't think that like that's right. And, yeah.
And Maya, I want to address something else you said, though. You said, you and a lot of other men and women, but men say this as well, that in this economy that we're living in, two people do need to be working, two incomes are needed. Yeah. At the end of the day, Maya, I don't 100% agree with that. Now, I do 100%, it's just a fact that two incomes is always going to be better than one. The more money, the better. The more money, the better for the household, the better for that individual, the better for the collective. 100% true. However, there are people, Maya, that there's men out here, they're making only 60, 70 bands, but they're living within their means, Maya. And I say living within their means because a lot of people don't live within their means. A lot of men and women don't live within their means. So even even a man and a woman, right? And I know you have your own place, and my cousin has his own place, but like There's people that they won't be engaged, they won't be married, but like they'll be in a relationship, but it's like, okay, now I have my money and we have your money, and we could stay in this place that only costs 1,500, but being that between the two of us, we're making between 7 and 10 grand a month, we're gonna go get the place that's like 3,500 or 4 bands a month now.
Right.
Just because we have the ability to do
Just as you
so.
can. Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you need to do. So I
Yeah.
say that to say a man could be making 70, 80, 90, not even six figures. But if he's living within his means, that woman can afford to be a stay-at-home mom, Maya, and they can live, they can have all their needs met and have money left over as long as they're living within their means.
Sure. Like, but I think one, it goes back to your point that like two incomes are better than one. Now, again, sure, like you 100% can't do it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, why not set yourself up to make your life easier? If you have savings that you put aside, like in my mind, how I am thinking about family planning is like, I plan on going to more school that will eventually afford me opportunities to make a really good amount of money in a pretty short amount of time. I would want to save up, live in my means, as like you're saying, as much as possible, be able to put, down on a house, try to, front as many bills as I can so that when I am ready to start having babies, I don't have to worry about, oh, I need to hurry up and get back to work. Like now in my hypothetical, marriage, like, let's take Nappy here, like he's probably gonna be making a lot more than me. Like I probably wouldn't have to use most of that money. He would probably, we've already talked about it, and like he said he would be probably paying the bills, the mortgage, whatever. But I have my own stuff just in case, because, just to make everybody's life easy, you know what I mean? And so I think it can be done, but I just think that there's no reason you should have to, like, it shouldn't be an all or nothing, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I understand what you're saying, and let me say this too.
Sorry, I was rambling there.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Let me say this too though, because this is very important for me to say. Some of y'all know what I do. Some of y'all don't know what I do, but if you don't know what I do,
2 more minutes with me. I'm starting to get tired, by the way. Sorry.
Real quick. I am a door greeter at Sam's Club in the morning, and I'm a waitress at Fogo de Chao and Benihana part-time in the evenings. That's what I do for a living. Anyways, I just want to let y'all know that
So
all of these professions that American society, most of American society correlates with quote unquote making a lot of money. That's not 100% true. Okay, not every lawyer is a six-figure lawyer. Okay, some lawyers are glorified paralegals. There's a bunch of people out here that have MBAs. There's a bunch of people out here that have JDs, and they're not doing a damn thing with it because they haven't had the opportunity to do anything with it. Okay, there's a bunch of people out here that got $400,000-$500,000 in debt, but they have a JD. They passed the bar exam, and they have a $200,000 annual salary. But a lot of y'all don't know anything about money, so y'all think that however much money a person makes is gonna correlate to a certain lifestyle. What about their living expenses? What about their debt? Like y'all don't know stuff about like debt to income and all this stuff. And I don't want to get too deep into it, but just know that doctors, orthodontists, dentists, lawyers, they're not all making the money that you think they're making. And even some of them, they may have the salary, but they're not able to live the lifestyle because they have the debt and they have the living expenses. So I just want to let y'all know that too. That's why it's very important to live within your means. So there may be a lawyer that may be making $300,000 at his firm, but he's $600,000 in debt, and you make $100,000 and you don't have any debt. You use your credit card every month and pay it off so you can increase your credit score and get points on that credit card. You can live better than that person. I just wanted to inform you guys of that. But Maya, thank you for being on here, sis. I appreciate you. Do you know how to get off of here?
I think I just pressed the X, right?
Yeah, and then log out the account. All right. Wait.
Bye.